YouTube, how we doing? PPS here, Pass the Prop, back for our Friday show here. Obviously, looking forward to week 3 coming at you guys on our Friday show. Stu, how we doing, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, this has been an awesome start to the year. You never know how the early season is going to go, right? We obviously do all this work up here, but at the end of the day, it's the first couple weeks of the year. Really, anything can happen, right? So to see the results obviously be so good so early on is definitely a great feeling. And hey, it has me fired up. Like these last couple of Fridays, I just sit around for 2 hours before the show and just pace around trying to decide what I'm going to play. Like we've even been texting each other a lot more before. Like we're fired up and ready to go. So got some great plays today. Beautiful Friday out here in the District of Columbia. And hey, a lot of great football to talk about this weekend.
Yeah, no, obviously we appreciate all the support. I know we've been getting obviously the more views than we have been normally, but obviously that comes with winning some bets. So I hope that you guys have been throwing these in. I don't know if you want to throw parlays in. I usually don't recommend throwing too many parlays, but hey, when we're cooking with fire right now, it's tough not to. Obviously, the numbers have looked good to start. We'll get into our recap here shortly, but let's talk a little bit about game last night. Obviously, the Ayuk news comes out after the show, so I know a lot of people laddered Debo. I know a lot of people laddered Kittle. Obviously, made some money on that. But tell me what you think. Obviously, McCaffrey still got it done, and Daniel Jones kind of did what we expected.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that stuck out to me is team coach speak is now 0-2 on primetime games after losing we need to get Dallas Goedert more involved. Now they've lost the under Christian McCaffrey rush attempts I saw last night, unfortunately. Just a warning out there. These coaches, they don't like talking to the media. They go out there and say things so that you leave them alone. And obviously there's truth to it. You use your own logic and stuff like that. But just a little warning out there. I see people go crazy, like absolutely crazy for these coaches' statements. And in reality, we're not actually seeing any return on these bets so far. So that was one thing that stuck out to me. Beyond that, I mean, the Giants did exactly what you said. They weren't great. The offensive line continued to struggle. Obviously, San Francisco established the run with both running backs. Brock Purdy, man, it looked like he was trying to turn the ball over out there at times. There were, 3 or 4 interception-worthy plays. It's one of those situations where the stat sheet looks pretty good for Purdy. The in real life performance maybe didn't match up as much, but at the end of the day, San Francisco is doing exactly what they want to do. Get the ball out fast, let your playmakers make plays. And Deebo Samuel, I mean, amazing game, showed out the yak. George Kittle, another awesome game. It was about what we expected. The 49ers took care of business. They looked great. And the Giants, they continued to struggle.
Yeah, no, I don't really look too much into Purdy's numbers, seeing as I would love to see the yards after catch for every receiver. I feel like the only guy who didn't have any yak was Juwan Jennings, but that was because he threw him like 10-yard passes. Every other thing was under 10 yards. And obviously you let the guys do their job, and Debo looked fantastic after the catch. Kind of shows you what he can be and what he is when healthy. Obviously he's been used in a lot of different ways, but yeah, definitely looked really good. Happy for all you guys who made some money on that game last night, and hopefully you guys all got to lock in those spots with the Ayuk news as well. Obviously, we didn't have that. Again, we go at this time every single time, so we don't have all of the news like we normally do, right? That's the tough part, but also the good part is we get some good lines, right? We get some really nice lines, and let's go through our recap. We got 26 of you guys in here. First 4 minutes, hit that like button if you could. We really appreciate you guys joining us. We got 4 plays for you guys, a couple long shots as well. But let's recap yesterday first here.
Yep, started out with the little rushing receiving combo right here. Matt Breida under 50 rush yards, over 2 catches. Made it a little sweaty with the catches, but obviously on that last drive, the checkdowns continued and we got the job done. As for rushing, as you guys know, this wasn't a sweat whatsoever. Remember this in future weeks, guys. If you can take that rushing yards up a little bit and take the under, it is great against these teams like the 49ers, who are just amazing versus the run. So got a little sweaty with the catches, but pretty easy cash overall.
Yeah, I love it. And I still am baffled by this line, 19.5. I didn't sweat it all either. I mean, we were throwing 4-yard outs, baby. Those are what I like to see, especially as a guy who owns San Francisco defense in 2 of my 3 leagues. In both of those leagues, we do yards as points as well. So your defense starts with 20 points. But every 100 yards, you lose 2 points. Every 7 points, you lose 2 points as well. So They only allowed like 140, and they let Daniel Jones get those underneath ones, then got the pick right after he hits it. I'm like, this is ideal, man. That was absolutely ideal. So was really happy to cash that one in and just continue this run, man. It's been wild.
Yeah, no, this is great. Obviously, like I said on the show, the only thing I had was why have I not bet this? Because we completely agreed on how the game was going to go, and it was just one of those spots that was, it felt too good to be true, and it obviously wasn't. Great line. The game script went exactly how we predicted it was, and yeah, like you said, it ended up pretty easy. I mean, I was looking at Paris Campbell live to bet him, right? His receptions for the second half were 2, right? He had 5 catches in the second half and still went under his total yardage number, despite the fact that all those catches were going for legitimately 2 to 3 yards. And he's a wide receiver. So it just shows what this Giants offense likes to do. I saw a couple people cashed in on the longest completion, kind of with that same logic that we had last Thursday, right? With the Bryce Young, last Monday. So it was good to see that. A lot of money to be made last night. I'm glad we all cashed out.
Yeah, we end up pushing our total almost double-digit units through 2.25 weeks, right? I mean that's wild, man. Almost 10 units. Yeah, dude, I want to keep this going, man. I mean, yeah, dude, fuck. 7 in a row, bro. We got to get 8. I got to get 8, 9 in a row here. We can get double digits in a row. Dude, if we go that to start the season, bro, we better get 20 million views, huh?
Yeah, I mean, hey, double digits on a free player prop show is not something you're seeing. Double-digit units 2 weeks into the year is not a common thing. And obviously, that's how the gambling world is, but I think we can just keep on giving winners up here. And hopefully, you guys keep on showing out, keep on leaving those likes. That's the only thing we really ask in return.
Yeah, that's all we want. Free stuff, baby. Free stuff. Obviously, hitting the like button is free as well. And hopefully you guys are sticking with us and wanting to win some money. Let's take a look at the chat here. 35 you guys in the first 7 minutes. Thank you guys so much. Our boy Terrence making it back to that first spot. Beating our boy Brian in there. Brian, we're back, baby. Yeah, dude, it's weird going back-to-back days. It's I kind of like it, but it's what do we get if we do Tuesday, Wednesday, just sitting up here and I just talk shit the whole time.
Yeah, no, there's got to be new shit to talk about, and there is, right? Yesterday we were fully locked in on that Thursday, talked some DFS. Now we're fully locked in on the player props, the touchdowns, the long shots, all that stuff. And I do want to say, too, while we're still early on in the show, people are going to be asking questions the whole time, but drop any comments you have. We'll get to them, even if it's not immediately, we'll get to them throughout the show. That's, I think, one of the best parts of the show so far. Last week, we had a bunch of killer questions. I thought we gave some pretty good answers, and we won some bets because of it. So definitely drop those questions if you have them.
Yeah, even fantasy stuff. Obviously, we focus on fantasy on Thursday. But definitely talk about those. I'm just dropping in the Draftkings link. Hopefully Stu will join this week so I can take some money from you. Obviously a good week last week. Our boy Paul won it. I'm going to have it as a $5 entry for this one. Top 2 win. So hopefully you guys pop in there. Where we talk DFS, so probably going to see the guys that we talk about in our lineups, I would assume. But yeah, taking our move down here. Terrace parlay and round robbing PTP picks has been very profitable. Yeah, dude. I mean, hopefully you guys have just been throwing these in some stuff. I don't recommend parlaying, but Terrence, he's going to throw some stuff in some big parlays. Whether it's MLB, NBA, it's going to make its way into Terrence's card, and we'd love to see it. I'm happy that we were able to make it so far. Got Super Iron Ring, Onion Ring. Appreciate you, my guy. We won 50 in a row, man. Hey, I'm gonna be happy with 10, and we'll just keep it going, doing the same thing, and hopefully shit works out for us. So that is all of the comments and questions so far. Again, guys, hit that like button. Let's kind of look over this slate, Stu. Really nice slate, honestly. There's not too many huge spreads. Obviously, a couple of the bigger spreads being the Ravens facing off against Gardner Minshew, injury related. You got Miami, Denver 6.5, Jacksonville, Houston 8.5. What is the big screen game for you this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. I think for me, because last week I picked some ugly games, right? As the big screen games, we kind of got down in the trenches. We saw the Atlanta Green Bay game, which I know you probably watched. I enjoyed that a lot. But this week, we're going all offense, baby. It's got to be Minnesota Chargers. That's got to be the big screen game. That is clearly the best game of the week. Even, who cares? Football fan, DFS fan, player prop bet. Like, we are going to see pure offense. If you're a defense fan, you're not going to love this game. If you're my 82-year-old grandfather, just turn it off. It's going to make you mad. Don't watch it. If you're listening right now, Ray, don't watch. But anyone else, right, under the age of 80 is going to love this game. Pure offense, stars everywhere. That's the game of the week, no doubt about it.
Love it. Yeah, dude. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a different one. Sign me up for Miami, Denver, baby. I want to watch that game. I want to watch Russ cook, baby. I want to see him do it, man. He's been. I mean, obviously, if you watch the game, it's different. But fantasy-wise, he's been pretty nice. He's finding his way into the starting lineup this week, sitting Joe Burrow, like I said. So I'm excited to see that game. I want to see how Denver's defense, if they're gonna have Surtain try to follow around Tyreek, because that man might need a gas mask after, because my God, he is going to be running everywhere if he's going to try and shadow cover Tyreek Hill, man, because that's going to be a oxygen mask waiting to happen. So I'm really excited for that one. Obviously, you want to see if Waddle plays, because 6.5 seems a little high to me if there's no Waddle, right? I mean, that's going to be a little tough. Sign me up for some River Craycraft, baby. Let's get that.
But literally, once you take Waddle out that team, right, that is the most concentrated wide receiver usage of any team in the league. So when you take that guy out, it is literally like, is Durham Smythe going to get 6 targets a game? Shout out Durham Smythe. We talked about him a lot on the show last year. I didn't win any of those bets.
It wasn't a we. Make sure you don't put we in there. I never said that man's name once. You can't say we and just throw the shit in there. That's like when I'm talking about some of my like Kevin Porter Jr. You didn't talk like I would never say we because you don't like him, right? It's not like I had nothing against Durham Smythe. I don't think I said that name one time.
Okay, I talked about him enough for the both of us last year on the show. In our long shot, I always like to throw in there. I love a backup tight end. What can I say? But either way, the point is, there really aren't too many names. You meant River Craycraft sounds like a joke. It sounds like we're kidding around. That is legitimately the guy that steps up into that next. Is Trent Sherfield still there, or did he get cut?
I don't know.
He was there last year. I think he's on like the Bills now. He might have got cut.
I don't remember who else.
But either way, it is Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys last year. It's the fact that we have to guess on who these other guys that would step up is kind of telling. For me, the only concern is like the weather in that game. I'm hearing like the hurricane stuff could mess with it. But if we have a nice regular game, then I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, Sherfield on the Bills.
Yeah, okay.
Braxton Berrios. Yeah. He did move over there, didn't he?
Goats.
But yeah, I mean that game is kind of. I've been hearing a lot about the weather stuff there. Hey, Rush 100 yards rushing, maybe that's the call, baby. Russ, bring him back to that Badger day, baby. Run that shit around. Yeah, I think that weather is definitely something that you have to pay attention to this week for the first time, right? We really haven't had to worry about that yet. Obviously, we expect that like the December time. But September, I guess the rain's coming. So, Stu, it is time, man. It is time for some dogs. Dog of the week. Let's check last week. I think mine lost. I don't even remember. I don't think we've really been just keeping track that much. I had the Patriots. You had Commanders, so that was good.
I'm 2-0, baby. 2-0.
I think I'm 1-1 on my dog picks. I don't think we've really been tracking, but I just have all the old page and stuff here. But who's your pick? Who's the spot for you on this board?
Well, there's like a cheat code pick. Technically, aren't the Chargers a dog still? Aren't they technically? It might be even. They were minus one.
They're minus 108.
Or sorry, okay. They were plus 1 earlier in the week.
They are plus 1, but they're minus 108. Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's the cheat code if you want to underdog. Beyond that, it's a lot of big spreads. I think I could see myself going to the Falcons.
Yeah, that's what I was looking too.
But I'll go a little crazier then, and I'll say the Colts with a backup quarterback will be my dog of the week right here. Actually, wait. Whoa. Are the Rams still dogs? Whoa.
They're not on they're on Monday, bro.
Okay. I want to talk about the Rams more. I love the Rams.
Well, you got all Monday to talk about the Rams.
Yeah. You'll love that show. That'll be fun. Okay. Then I'll stick in with the Colts. Yeah, I'll stick in with the Colts right here. I haven't been super impressed, honestly, with Baltimore as a whole, especially now we still have some offensive line injuries. secondary problems. This just feels like it could be kind of one of those ultimate letdown points. Obviously, it's going to be hard to make a great argument for an 8-point underdog with a backup quarterback. I see the concern right there. I do think they cover. I think it's a fairly close game. I think this Ravens team that used to absolutely cover the hell out of these big spreads isn't really there anymore. That hasn't really been the case for a year and a half. And I'm not sure if they have the offensive firepower like throughout the full game to really pull ahead by a lot. So for me, I'll take the Colts as my dog.
Yeah, dude, I'm going disgusting, bro. I'm going disgusting, and I'm betting on the Jets if I'm going to go dog picks. Again, you talked about, dude, there's like 4 plus 10 plus spreads. So it's like I ain't betting on them, right? We ain't betting on those. But just watching that offense, like for the Patriots last week, really tough for me to think that they're going to move the ball on this Jets defense. Like, obviously Miami's a little different, right? It's a different beast. And now you're running into this. I just don't see the Patriots moving the ball at all on the Jets. And maybe the defensive touchdown is going to have to come through for them to score. But I think they can win the field position game. 36.5 total is the game. That's disgusting. You got a good defense in there on the Jets side. Patriots are obviously very good as well. But, I mean, you still got Breece Hall, Delvin Cook, who can try and take something off. I just don't see the explosive plays coming from this Patriots side. Like, where are we getting explosive plays? I don't see anything down the field for the Patriots, and methodically trying to run the ball and move the ball in short situations on this Jets defense. I just don't see it happening there. So, I mean, 2.5 is actually pretty big for a 36 total if you think about it. That's pretty wild. So I'll take the plus 120 and hope that Jets defense continues to show up.
Yeah, tougher dog week than we've had these last couple of years. But I agree, the Jets defense has them live in pretty much any game. It's like we said on Thursday night football or Monday night. When you have a guy like TJ Watt, when you have these game-breaking defensive players, anything can happen. And obviously we know the Jets have multiple game-breaking defensive players. So that'll be the littlest screen possible game.
Oh, yeah. It will not be on a screen. It will be on – maybe I'll turn on like whatever app I got for scoring only, and you get one notification the whole time. It's 3-0, and it's over. So it's going to be pretty funny there to watch that. Dude, and that's the thing, though, is Jets going to win. Okay, you can lay minus 142 on a team that might score 10 points. And, it's like, that's not even worth it. It's not even worth laying juice on Mac Jones there. Take away Garrett Wilson. Like, you can take him away, but they're not even using him that much because Zach Wilson can barely get him the ball. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if they have really a best option. Like, I'm not talking about their offense. I don't know if you heard, but I actually was talking shit on their offense about how I was going to back them. So it's like, it's tough because if I don't like their offense, I think their defense is better than the Patriots, and then we might be able to get the position battle. But when you're taking dogs, man, it's different.
Yeah, that's an interesting game. I will not be betting on either side of that game.
No, I won't be either.
So we'll see what happens.
I'm not sure on the weather in that game. I know all of like the real South games, like Miami, Jacksonville, those games are the ones there. Yeah. All right, let's take a look here. We got 50 of you guys in here, 20 minutes in. Thank you guys for joining us. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Again, guys, I don't think I mentioned that offense once besides saying that they suck. So we don't need to bring those in there. I talked about the Broncos a little bit there, I don't mind the Broncos, man. But I like them for more fantasy stuff than I do any of these other things. You know what I mean?
The spread is a little higher than I would have it if I had to bet, especially if you could get the 7 instead of the 6.5. I would lean Broncos. My real problem, though, is the Broncos can't really get pressure on the quarterback so far. That's their huge glaring weakness, even against Washington's terrible offensive line, right? It's now kind of back-to-back weeks of that. And now they're going against the best quarterback in the league in terms of success rate with a clean pocket, right? So when you give to a clean pocket, when you have Tyreek out there, you just need those couple extra seconds, right? That seems like a big deal to me. Clean pocket Tua is not someone you want to bet against. So for me, that's kind of what held me off the Broncos. But I agree. That 6.5 is definitely pretty generous.
Sounds good. Oh, my God. Then I like it even more. Look, if it's going to be high winds and rain and nobody can pass,
Grimy, yeah.
I would love that, baby. I love that, dude. That's like Robert Sala's dinner, baby. He's probably happy. He don't want a nice sunny day, dude. He wants to get it. That's why he left San Francisco, baby. It's like too much sun here. I want it to be down and dirty, baby. Let's go. No, I cut. Took Ramondre rush attempts earlier this week at 13.5. It's 14.5. Weather play. Hey, I don't mind it. Who is that? I'm trying to think of who that backup was. I played him in that showdown slate for the Patriots game. But Ramondre does have most. Who was it?
I don't think you played Ezekiel Elliott. You'd remember that, right?
No. Maybe it's a slot guy that I put in there, but he was like 2K. Because you had to go down on, you know how showdowns go when you want to pay up you throw Ramondre in your captain, you gotta get down and dirty, man, on some of those guys to make sure you get those get everybody that you want in there. So Stu, I think it's time, man. I think it's time. You got anything else before we get into plays now?
No, I'm ready to go. Like I said, about to talk some player props. If you got any questions, drop them right now. But yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
Sounds good. We're going to start out with my favorite play of the week right here. We're going Derrick Henry over 12.5 receiving yards minus 114 on FanDuel. I will say if you have points bet, you can get this at 10.5 there. They're the only one laying that market. But since nobody in the world actually bets on points bet, I don't really feel great about giving out the fake lines. I know some people do it, but like if more than 5 of you guys use points bet here, then that would be nice, but I don't think that's the case. So this 12.5 is still better than what I was expecting on FanDuel, considering DraftKings opened at 13.5. But I love this spot. This is my absolute first look of the week, no doubt about it. And the reason is actually pretty simple right here. Cleveland is getting pressure on the quarterback better than any team in the league right now. And when you look at the team they're going against, right, Ryan Tannehill is a guy that throughout his career has consistently struggled against the pressure and against the blitz, right? Those are his two worst situations. And under a clean pocket, when they had that elite offensive line a couple years ago, we saw what Tannehill can do. He was trending towards being like an upper caliber quarterback, not a star or anything, but an above average game manager. He was looking really good. We take that really good offensive line away from him, and you start to get a little bit concerned about how this offense functions downfield, especially when you look at his rush yards. Henry's only set at 70 rush yards on most sports books right now. They're giving a lot of respect to this Cleveland defensive line, and I do too. This is a very strong Cleveland defensive unit. We obviously saw what they did to Najee Harris last week in that start. The only production really came on Warren catches, right? If we remember those big Warren plays out of the backfield, those were receptions, not actually carries on the ground. And what I like about Henry is dating back to the beginning of last year, we really saw him start to get more involved in the screen game, right? When you watch these games, Vrabel's one of my favorite coaches. I'm a big fan of what he does. He gets his boys ready to fight, and he's one of those guys that he always raises the level of a team. The one bummer is he doesn't have the most complex offensive playbook. He is not using this wide receiver motion. He's not getting super crazy on offense that we see a lot of these great offenses do right now. But for me, that doesn't bother me, especially for this bet, because the one play we consistently see them run is just that quick Derrick Henry screen where he consistently gets the ball on the outside, the quick dump off, little motion sometimes, doesn't even need the motion. You throw the lead blocker in front of him and you give the ball to your most explosive player. And that's what I love to see. He's 2 for 2 on this so far. We saw a 40-yard reception the other game. It's clear what happens when Derrick Henry gets the ball in his hands. You just want to get him the ball in space. And if you're struggling at the line, if you're going against such a dominant defense like Cleveland, then they clearly don't have the run blocking advantage. So for me, how do you get your all-star running back involved in a more creative way? You hit him on those screens. You get him involved in the passing game. That's what we've consistently seen. He's 2 for 2 on this number so far. He now faces the best defensive line he's faced out of either of these two teams so far. And I think it's going to force, I think he gets 2 or 3 chances alone on screens, not even counting those little dump downs with pressure in your face. I just think there's so many opportunities right here. I know Spears is going to be out there. I'm a fan of Spears as well. He's been involved early. He's playing a lot of snaps. But at the end of the day, you get your most, effective player the ball in space and you let him get the job done. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. I think this is one of those plays where you really only need one catch, right? But I think we're going to get 2 to 3 to 4 opportunities in this one, and I think Henry should sail over this number.
Yeah, as a Derrick Henry fantasy owner, hopefully he does this real early. But yeah, definitely like Derrick Henry here. And I'm not even that worried about Tajay Spears, man. I'm really not. I know a lot of people are about him as much as everybody else was. People were like freaking out after week 1 when they got down early and went to him, So I'm not really that worried, especially when you're going to have design plays to get it in the best player's hands on your team, right?
Yeah. And yeah, that's the whole point of this. And I too see Terrence in the chat said, if you do a points bet, would you make it 1.5 units at 10.5? I would. Yeah, I would definitely do that. And this would be a 1.5 unit play too. But I was kind of looking at the longest reception, even though it's only 9.5 on DraftKings. I'm hoping maybe another book opens like an 8.5. Because like I said, if you watch Derrick Henry, if you watch the Titans a lot, it's going to be one of those one play situations. A lot of running backs, you get one dump down for 3 yards, you get one dump down for 4 yards. For Henry, it's get him the ball, go out there and block, and let's get a 23-yard gain right here. And I think that's the kind of play we're looking out for right here.
Yeah, I love it. And let's head to my first play here. I'm doing another combo. I will do this again. Let's see how it goes here when I pull up my screen. Just because I've had people message on how to do those. I'm just pulling up my FanDuel -103 right here. You can see the same game parlay, Bijan 50, Amon-Ra 50 at -103. But I love this spot, man. Amon-Ra, obviously, is my guy. I love this guy. Obviously, they talked about him today being healthy, feeling like he's good to go. At least that's what Campbell said there. I like this matchup for him. I know that Atlanta's defense looks pretty good on paper right now, but you got Bryce Young and Jordan Love. I mean, those were the two quarterbacks you faced. Now you got Jared Goff, right? And the number one receiver is obviously out for the Packers, right? No Christian Watson. So they have not allowed a guy to get to 50 yards. Hayden Hurst had 41, and I don't even want to try to say his first name. Wicks, rookie for the Packers out of Virginia. He had 41, right? But Amon-Ra this year, the reason why I took receiving yards versus receptions is, dude, this guy's air yards are a lot higher now this year than I expected him to be. It's at 12, right? He's got 12 air yards per through the first 2 games. Really like that. Obviously, explosive plays last week, reached 100 yards on 7 catches, and obviously a lead after the catch. But a lot of the times he doesn't even get the chance to do it because he's running them right across the middle and getting tackled right there. So really like this spot. Love the opportunity share. And also, I know Reynolds didn't practice this week too. If he's not in, that might be just a little bit extra, right? And I also like Laporta. You got to worry about him. So it's like there's a lot of other options. It's not just like you can double team Amon-Ra, especially out of the slot. So I really like this spot for Amon-Ra to get there. Obviously, hit it in the first 2 weeks. And then Bijan, man. Oh, my God. Dude, this guy's so good. It's just tough to not want to play him every single week, right? Especially at the buy down price. We're getting 17 yards off of his actual number. Still giving me around 225, 250. And my God, I watched this Falcons team last week, obviously against my Packers, and the Packers are the same way. They got some big dudes up front, not fast though. And that's the same thing here with you got Aiden Hutchinson, obviously on this line, Steve, but you got a couple of these bigger dudes that, clog up the middle. You're not able to run real well with those quote unquote slower backs like a Tyler Algier, right? Like AJ Dillon last week. He's the same way. They couldn't do anything on the ground. Right. Yeah, that's why they were trying to get receivers the ball in those jet motions. Right. And all right. So if we have a guy who's not going to run past you in Tyler Algier, and then you have a absolute game breaker in Bijan, why would I even try to give the ball to Algier in a matchup like this? Right. So I really like this spot for Bijan to be the guy to break plays out, 20-yard plays. I mean, this is going to be hitting 2 plays for Bijan, right? Just the ability to make people miss in space. I love this spot. -104 is phenomenal, and I'll probably lay more than a unit on this. I love it.
Yeah, this is insane that you can get both of these guys for almost even money. Like Bijan, 50-plus rush yards. I always like to try to build these combos when the lines first come out, too, just to see where they go, to see what combinations I can make. And I wasn't even able, this was only DraftKings, I wasn't even able to make anything really good with Bijan because his odds were so juiced. But obviously now that they're more reasonable on FanDuel, man, this is such a good floor performance for both these guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown on a bad day has 50 receiving yards, right? If you go back through his game logs and you look at the struggling ones, those are still 6 targets, 50 yards, slow games, right? And there's no reason for either of us to believe this is going to be a slow game, right? I think this is a game with some sneaky offensive potential now that he's healthy out there and good to go. I like a lot of these lines pieces, like you said. And then Bijan on the other side. You guys know, I mean, one, I love the AJ Dillon kind of Tyler Algier comparison because it really does show you like some teams are very good against specific styles, right? And the stylistic matchups you want to avoid. On the other hand, Bijan Robinson's the most explosive running back in football right now. The cuts, the things this guy's doing out there is amazing. I think 50 rush yards is a floor performance once again for a guy that's going to have 15, 16 carries at the minimum.
Yeah, I really like to see them against the Packers run it 19 times with them, right? It was really nice to see.
Tough matchup.
Yeah, it's not, dude. The Packers defense is nice, right? And that's how they're going to have to stay in these games, right? With Jordan Love out there, right? So, definitely gonna be a strength of the team down the road. But to see Bijan make 2-3 guys miss in a row, those are the big plays that make 50 yards. Like, I'm sure you've gotten this, right? Where it's halftime and your bet looks like shit, and all of a sudden, wow, I hit it. And I'm like, those 4 messages from everybody's like, oh my God, you suck, blah, blah, blah. Why are you giving me this? This is terrible. Like, I'm like, I gave you the info, all this stuff. But guess what? When you have a guy that can just completely game break like that, you can't say that shit till there's no time on the clock, right? That's what those game breakers like to do. Tyreek, right? These are the dudes that if you're in DFS and you're in like first place, you're sweating on these guys because these are the guys that are going to ruin your day. Right. So just a heads up, like Bijan can make this happen in like 2 plays. So if it's slow to start or they're passing, trying to get those guys to back off, those backers, just relax. Right. These are the types of guys that can do it pretty quick. So I had to get that out there because I think you would be both have probably gotten that before.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And like you said, Bijan's the perfect profile for a guy like that who maybe starts a little bit slower. And then obviously as the game goes on, these guys get a little bit more tired. It becomes a lot more hard to tackle Bijan Robinson. Spoiler, it's already hard. And final thing too, if you watch that Packer game, right? All those jukes, those were behind the line of scrimmage because the Packers defense is very strong. That line, especially with Gary healthy now, is a very scary defensive line. Imagine what happens when he's juking guys in front of the line of scrimmage where there's actually space to move and he's not avoiding 4 different guys. Like what I saw last week was very impressive in a bad matchup. Now imagine what he's going to do in a better matchup right here in week 3.
Love it. And yeah, I saw people talk about Godwin and stuff. We'll for sure talk. We're here specifically for 2 games on Monday. So we'll break down everything. I know Brian mentioned that already. We'll talk about it Monday. Stu already did it too, so don't worry. He already tried talking about Monday too, so don't worry. You're in good company. I'm on that. So before we get into plays number 3 and 4, 65 of you guys in here, hit that like button. We love you. Appreciate you. Let's get to a couple of these questions. We got Jam Rock Kicks parlayed Hunter Henry, 10 receiving yards in the first half under 24.5. I love that first half under look. I'm sure that is probably like 250, 300 with what the game total is. So don't mind that at all. Henry, 10 yards. Hopefully, the dude's just catching tutties, man. He doesn't do anything else but just catch straight touchdowns. So would assume that's not a bad look at all here. Hopefully the weather isn't too bad.
I think Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Hey, Hunter Henry too. They're both going to get touchdowns anyway. Even though one Henry is like plus 300, the other one's probably minus money.
Yeah, no, but like you said, though, it's actually kind of funny because all Hunter Henry is doing is getting those touchdowns. As someone that's got him on fantasy, you're not depending on yards. You're not depending on anything else, just the end zone, which is going to suck this week against the Jets, but that's okay.
Beautiful. And Mr. Brian, we'll be talking about that Viking game here in my next play for sure. Really do I like so much in that game, man. If you guys do jump in, make sure you are jumping into our Draftkings contest. Hopefully I can shoot Stu another reminder. Make sure he puts his lineup in so you can take Stu's money right there. Make sure you jump in and get in on that link right there. Obviously, just so we can, little bragging rights, get you guys a little bit more money in your pocket. Taking Stu's money, nothing better than that, right? Nothing better than that.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Had a lot of people in my DMs doubting me about Kadarius Toney last week, and look what happened. So we'll see about that. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
I had Sky Moore, thank God. I had Sky Moore in mind, so I was happy. With I didn't play Toney. I couldn't do it, and you were right. Like the exposure on those two were just absurd.
So low.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. It was just funny. But hey, I'll be that guy to play on that. And I was looking at something. Oh yeah. talking about the Chiefs and Bears. Obviously, Roshan Johnson getting a little bit more love this week. Over 40.5 rushing receiving yards. I did see a couple guys already post that one, and that line is moving. So I'll probably take off of that one. But you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that's it's a high number for all speculation, in my opinion. Like, I agree. I think Roshan is going to be the guy. I think he continues to establish himself as the guy on this team. It's everything in preseason has looked awesome. But man, week 3 already, 41.5 rush. It's a little tough for me personally. I don't think I'll be betting it. I'll be rooting for anyone that does bet it. I'll be watching to see if maybe he does take over. Like, theoretically, the RB1 could be benched. Herbert could see a much lower role. That's what some rumors are. I don't know. I'm not comfortable enough to take that after just 2 weeks. I don't know about you.
See, this is right here. This right here is perfect opportunity for you guys. It's you take the ladder up if he plays and he gets the 70%. I'm not playing his straight line here. I'm playing 50.5, 60.5. Trying to get that plus money on me guessing right. I should get paid out for my risk, right? The risk opportunity here is if he hits this, he's going to get 67, right? And he's going to get the bulk carries, bulk work, right? Cool. I can't play this line. I would rather just go up.
Yeah. Can I agree with you, though, and just say receiving instead of rushing? Like, I would rather ladder the receiving because I think they're going to be behind the whole game. And even though Justin Fields doesn't really check down that much, we've still seen it over these last couple games. So I agree with you. I'd go boom or bust. Completely agree. Very well said. Boom or bust, right? Because we don't know. This is all speculation. So when you're speculating, I think you just want to take your chance on one of those, lower range of outcome situations where he really does pop off. Because if you're betting this, you're trusting he pops off and steals the job, right? Which is, that's an aggressive assertion to make in week 3, obviously. But I still like Roshan. I like the talent. I like the hype pre-draft. I'm just not personally going to be immediately trusting him off the bat.
No, for sure. You gotta see it happen. And I don't want to bet on a bear. That offense is terrible, dude. It's
true.
Fuck.
And just before we get off that game, if I do, the thing I'm going is I think I might have to play DJ Moore 80 and 100 receiving yards. Because if you've watched DJ Moore play, all the plays are either yak or deep ball related, right? They're just trusting him to make a huge play. If this team is finally going to look better, even if it's just garbage time, because the Chiefs could theoretically put up 40 on that awful defense in the first half, then I think DJ Moore alt lines could actually be really sneaky this week as well.
Yeah, dude, I can't watch that shit, dude. Oh, man. All right, well, let's keep it going. Yeah, hey, Brian, I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you 100%. Stu, let's get to plays 3 and 4 here, my friend.
Sounds good. We're going with a surprisingly low number right here. Zay Flowers, over 46.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Obviously, I love a chance to kind of get these young, trending wide receivers at a little bit of a low number. And to be honest, I thought this number was going to open across the board in the 50s, right? Zay Flowers has clearly proven, even from the first week, that he is the wide receiver 1 on this team, which caught me off guard. I didn't expect that. Camp reports were good. The scouting reports were great, right? I knew Flowers was going to be one of those wide receivers I wanted to target this year, but I just thought the opportunity would come on a little bit slower than it did. Week 1, he kicked Rashad Bateman out, right? Rashad Bateman only ran around on 40% of the snaps in week 1, which completely caught me off guard. And now we got Odell Beckham dealing with some injury stuff. We see guys like Devin Duvernay stepping back into the lineup. Nelson Aguilar was their leading wide receiver last week. But guess what? Nelson Aguilar also ran 11 routes last week. So if you want to trust a guy that is going to be out there for 11 plays all game, that's on you. But I'm going to be going on the guy that's led the team in routes in back-to-back weeks. And I saw people saying, he actually played less snaps than last week. Who cares? He ran more routes than Mark Andrews. That's what matters. The routes run is what matters, not the snap share. I saw people downgrading him in their rankings because he played 10% less snaps. Who cares? Who cares? If you're running more routes than Mark Andrews, you're fine with me, right? So I love that he's established himself as the number 1 target. Then what I also love is, you guys know, I've been mentioning a lot of this pre-snap motion. We saw 4 design targets for him in week 1 behind the line, or not behind the line of scrimmage, close to the line of scrimmage. These immediate checkdowns, they were finding him. Last week, we saw the part of his game that I was more intrigued to see, and the part that I was impressed to see at Boston College, which was the deep ball. Phenomenal catch from a Lamar Jackson, slightly off target though against the Bengals is what pushed him over this number last week. But now we have a very rare combination of a wide receiver that is not only the number one on routes in his team, he's now getting schemed up targets close to the line of scrimmage where they're getting him involved early and often. And now we're finally starting to see the deep ball progress, which in my opinion is one of the most impressive parts of his game, considering at Boston College, he was awesome in that facet of the game, despite the fact that his quarterback had the highest off-target throw percentage of any other quarterbacks in this class, right? So I love the talent in Flowers. I love the opportunity in Flowers. And now that we're seeing all parts of his game kind of put together, I'm ready to buy low. We're going against a Colts team. Their best corner is Kenny Moore, who's coming off a not very good season, right? This team lost Stephon Gilmore. Their corner group is one of the weakest we have in the league. They've allowed back-to-back wide receiver ones to go over 100 yards by a lot, right? We saw Calvin Ridley clear that easily in week 1. We saw Nico Collins clear that easily in week 2. And guess what? The wide receiver twos were eating as well. Robert Woods, Tank Dell, also had over 70 yards each last week, and we saw Zay Jones as well. So wide receivers are absolutely eating against this team, and Zay Flowers is in an awesome matchup this week. So I love this spot. I couldn't believe the number opened this low. I'd play it anything up to 55.5, to be honest.
Yeah, you love those big play guys. I mean, especially on these, dude. 49.5, best line I can find on DK and MGM. Not even up on. Oh, wow. I saw it on FanDuel earlier.
And that's crazy too. I took a screenshot at 109 of 46.5. That was one minute after the show started as well, which is kind of crazy that it's moving that fast. But hey, they're respecting our plays, right? Pittman moved in like 5 minutes last week as well. They're respecting our plays right now. I still like that 49.5 number. And yeah, I just want to address what you said though. I do love the deep play wide receivers, but how many of those deep play wide receivers are also getting these targets at the line of scrimmage? That's like an elite level. That's like a Tyreek Hill category.
Nico, baby.
Yeah, he's getting in that conversation as well with usage through 2 weeks. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing what was I gonna say? I had something lined up too, for sure. I had something lined up that I was about to say. But lost it. So unfortunately we gotta move on for that one. But yeah, dude, this line just seems so low, bro. It just seems so low for this. You said 55.5 was the top one that you'd go to?
I'd play it all the way up to 55.5. Yeah, that's the maximum line. I bet that's probably closer to where it closes.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, dude, I'm doing another combo play, bro. I don't even care. I'm not even I just can't believe my numbers I'm getting here, bro. DraftKings giving me this number. Kirk Cousins 250, Josh Allen 225. I just checked right now, and that is sitting at it's minus 125 now. Jesus, minus 125. Go lock that in now. Yeah, I literally just had this one up here second ago. But obviously, Kirk Cousins in the best matchup you could possibly have. I think that they're going to average about 3 minutes per possession and just chucking down the field. I hope Eckler is out, because then it's just going to be so much condensed offense here, man. It's just going to be so much condensed offense. Obviously, love Kirk Cousins, especially 44 pass attempts per game through the first 2 games. Obviously, like that, we're seeing KJ Osborne get passes down the field, right? We're seeing air yards for him around 19 per possession. You have the alpha number 1 receiver in the entire NFL. If you try to double him, I mean, I don't. You got TJ Hockenson in the middle. Then you got KJ. Then you got Addison. Right? I want to bet on all of these guys. Why not just throw it on Kirk Cousins? Because this dude's going to chuck the ball down the field. And what I love is this dude will literally just forget about the run in the second half if they're down by even 3. If they're down by 3, they just say, okay, whatever. Let's just throw it around. That's the best part of our offense. We don't even need to run the ball. And Madison obviously getting Akers back there. That kind of just shows what they think about him. I don't even know if we're going to see Ty Chandler anymore, to be honest, now that we got Akers there. But I have to go against you in the Washington Commanders here with my boy Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. Scoot your head this way a little bit more, just so we cover it up. There we go. Now it's not. Now I don't feel as bad. I don't even know you're a Washington fan anymore. But I don't know how they're going to stop all these dudes. I think they can definitely still slow down the run, right? You guys got a great run defense. I'm not very impressed with the running game of James Cook. I love him out of the backfield. But what's he going to do? running into Deron Payne. What is he going to do running into these dudes? I don't think that they're going to have to turn one-dimensional here, especially if they're trying to move the ball. I think that spread's a little high, to be honest, outside of the Bills' defense, shutting down Howell. But I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball on these guys at all, put the ball in your best player's hands. I love Gabe Davis this week. Quote, I will have him later. We'll talk about him. Gabe Davis, I love him. Obviously, your boy Kincaid has looked great so far this year. And then obviously Steph Diggs there. 225 is absurd. I don't know why they keep giving me these lines so low. I have bet Josh Allen 225 in every single game this year. Every single game as a parlay piece. He's hit it against, obviously, a very, very tough team in the Jets. Obviously, I love the Washington defense against the run. I love them against the run. I'll play always unders against those guys. But I think that Washington's run defense is good enough to try to keep Allen in the pocket as well. Set the edges, make sure he's throwing the ball on pass plays instead of doing those impromptu 20-yard runs. I think Washington's good enough to keep him in there. So hopefully Bieniemy can find something, keep this game close. And even if it isn't close, they're going to still chuck, right? Even if it's bad weather, he's still going to throw the ball 30 times. We just saw him throwing 50-mile-an-hour winds 30 times, and the Patriots threw the ball twice. So it's like they don't care. They know what Allen can do. I like him if it's a rainy day, actually, because then you have those guys who know where they're going, and the defense doesn't know where they're going, right? So really like Josh Allen this week. I really don't know how we're getting these lines again. And I'm going to keep playing these until these books decide, hey, maybe we should boost it up a little bit on these because we're going to keep taking that money.
Yeah, no, it's always important to remember that, rain affects the offense and it affects the defense, right? Like you said, the wide receivers know where they're going out there. The defenses do not know where the wide receivers are going. So obviously if it's extreme rain, then that does hurt you. But for right now, we're a couple days out. It's still not looking like it's anything crazy. And it's rain is what, offenses and defenses, wind is what really kills you. And it's not like we're seeing 25-mile-an-hour winds or anything crazy like that. So for the time being, I agree with you. Obviously, I love this spot right here. These are two crazy low lines. To be honest, I could still see myself just playing both of these guys regular lines.
Oh, yeah, I will be too.
Yeah, by the end of the week, I love both of these matchups. I mean, Josh Allen, I feel like we said this briefly before the show. It feels like they're disrespecting him every week. Like last week, I talked about how I played him against Jimmy Garoppolo, and I ended up writing that up in a head-to-head. They were only giving me 15 yards against Jimmy G. I bet when I go check to write that up after this, they're probably only going to give me 20 or 25 against Howell, which seems a little bit crazy. It might actually be closer than that with how much Howell's been throwing. But I love this. I feel like, Kirk, you don't even have to talk too much about that. I mean, this Chargers defense ranked dead last via DVOA so far this year. Ooh, it's Justin Jefferson, likely going to have over 120 receiving yards in this one. My guy Addison, I expect him to continue to pop off. Hawkinson, there's just not enough names on this defense to keep up with that stellar offensive attack right here. And hey, the great news, they suck on defense as well. So it's like offense is all we're going to see in that one. 250 will be easy.
Yeah, no, I wanted to bet a bunch of people in that game, and I'm like, why would I not just take the quarterback who's going to get all of those yards with him? The thing is, though, is if you're a defense, you got to send two at Jefferson at this point, right? You have to. And most of the time, he's still open. But, I think this is a game where I'm going to go to the KJ Osborne. I think I'm going to go to the Jordan Addisons, even though he's getting a little bit more love than I like. I wish he would have sucked the first game, so I could have just got him cheaper. But now he's just screwing me over by doing so well so early on. He's kind of killing me there. But obviously, you got Hawkinson underneath. It's just everything in this game, it's tough to just not throw something on them because they're the perfect combination. And unfortunately, in my big league, I am playing against Hawkinson and Keenan Allen. In my second big league, or my most money league, I have Hawkinson Jefferson in mine. So I'm just going to be hoping that Hawk does all right and Jefferson just cooks and we get some Osborne love down there. But one thing I wanted to talk about just very, very, very briefly, red zone targets. 3 of them for KJ Osborne through 2 weeks. I was not expecting him to be getting those red zone targets as much as he has been. Obviously, everybody talking about Hawkinson in there, but 3 of them, I'll take that for a receiver that's not known for that at all. That's just something I might be looking forward to in this game.
No, they were using him a little bit more creatively than I expected. When I was rewatching that game, I expected him to kind of be a placeholder, right? He's just out there running routes. That deep play you mentioned, they got him on motion around the corner. That's normally the kind of play you design up for a player. And they obviously saw something they liked in Osborne. They got him that free release, and he took care of business. So I agree. I think he's a sneaky DFS guy. And we got to remember, too, Hawkinson has Derwin James, which is the toughest matchup out of any of these guys are going to have, at least. So I definitely think that does mean a slight lean to more of these wide receivers. And yeah, it's Osborne's out there. He could be a very sneaky punt play at DFS this week.
My thing is we got Eddie in here talking about your boy Brian Robinson. Is that a spot you want to go? Obviously you got 8 point spread? 8.5 maybe?
Yeah.
Is that a spot? Are you, because that's 6.5. My thing is like we see it. We did last year. I don't know how much we're gonna see it this year. Obviously, I'm only 2 games in, but we've seen these guys get like game scripted out of games, right? Where you see Brian Robinson the whole first half, and then you see the J.D. McKissick, Antonio Gibson guys coming in. Is that something that you're worried about here in a spot where you're 7-point dogs going up against a team who plays in this weather already if it is bad, and they do well in it, right? They excel in this bad weather, so it almost makes it harder, especially for a guy in Howell who, you got North Carolina, right? He's from North Carolina. You ain't gonna see this type of weather. You ain't gonna see this type of monsoon stuff coming down. Is that a spot that you want to look at, even though you have a tough team and a team that does do well in this weather?
Yeah, I'm just worried about like the Bills line. They're good in the trenches on both sides, right? This is not really a super easy matchup. They performed better than expected last week. I thought Josh Jacobs was going to run crazy, and they obviously contained him very well, which caught me off guard. And I think when you compare guys, Brian Robinson is pretty similar to Josh Jacobs in a lot of ways. Their usages, I would say Josh Jacobs is more talented, although this year he's trying to prove me wrong so far. But I will say the confidence that I have in Brian Robinson is we were down 21-3 last week, right? At the end of the first quarter, early second. And the next drive was all Brian Robinson. He was still heavily involved. We got the ball going on the ground, and that set up some play action plays. So to me, that showed me that we actually do have a lot of trust for Brian Robinson as the 3-down back, and that will continue. So I like Brian Robinson. For me, it'll probably be rushing plus receiving. I played receiving last week. If you follow me on Twitter, you may see that pop up again this week. Who knows what happens? Maybe a little sneak peek here on the show. But I do like Robinson in a couple different ways this week. But I do say the game script is a little bit concerning. I think we see more of Antonio Gibson than we have all year. But that doesn't mean a lot. That just means like 20% Antonio Gibson, which I'm fine with. So I like Robinson this week. But I do like some other markets a little bit better than just plain rush yards.
Yeah, there's a lot of other props that we can bet on too as well, which we'll be talking about here shortly when we get to our long shots here. Not worried about rain. Zay Flowers ladder, is there will you go all the way up to like 100, or are you going just more or less kind of sitting to that 60-70 range?
The thing that worries me about the full ladder is the game script, right? They're fairly heavy favorites in that game. And even though I do think it'll be a little bit closer, I see him kind of cashing this in the first half and maybe having a little bit more of a backseat in the second half. Maybe you get him on a screen or two, but I don't see him being as involved if they do get ahead in this game. So I personally see it as a little closer game, but I can also acknowledge that it's most likely that the Ravens do pull ahead given the 8-point spread and the backup quarterback right here, which would kind of kill the overall upside. So I'd like to go to like 80 instead of 100. I think 80 is probably where I'd ladder to. Beautiful.
All right. I did miss these guys. Daniel, tuning in from the UK. Love your work, guys. Appreciate you. Might be the first guy from UK. I don't know if we had a UK guy on here, but thank you for popping in and tuning in on your Friday here with us. Would love to hear your thoughts on the Justin Field narratives this week. I don't know. And we got Brian. Same on Fields. His rushing is calling me, bro. I don't know. You think he's going to start running more? I don't know. I mean, he should.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not running designed runs. It's tough, right? It's especially when your line's that bad. You got 2 dudes in the backfield immediately.
Exactly. It's hard when he and Josh Allen both. It's an important number to remember. And actually, throw in Lamar Jackson are not having designed runs this year. It's probably because it's early in the season and they're trying to protect these guys for the stars. I don't know about Justin Fields, but design runs are extremely important. Like at the end of the day, you should not even look at the box score, right? If you're looking at rushing for quarterbacks, you should be looking at designed runs, in my opinion, because scrambles are random. And you can predict scrambles with high pressure rate, with high blitz rate. We did that a lot with Justin Fields last year, if you watched the show. But yeah, I will say I'm leaning over with the narratives and everything like that. It's more like a game script play than anything. If they're going to be behind 2 touchdowns all game and what do you call it? The Chiefs are going to be sitting in that deep cover 2 look, stop any big plays. Let's win this game. Let's not get too crazy. He's going to be able to run 10 yards at a time on every play. That's assuming they go down early, but I don't know about you guys. I'm not in here, raising my flag for the Bears upset this week, although it would be extremely funny, and I do hope it happens. But 56 rush yards, it just feels fair. Like, it feels like they clearly saw that quote and were like, okay, we know the whole world wants to bet Justin Fields rush yards, so let's put it at 58. And that's a fair number. I think he probably goes over. As we saw last year, he was an insane runner, but it is kind of depending a lot on the narrative. So I don't know if I love it necessarily, but like, gun to my head, it's pretty easy. I'm taking the over. I think it's hard not to. I mean, it's week 3 and you have looked like the worst team in the league, despite the fact that at a time and for most of the offseason, you were second in odds to win your division, right? You were posted higher as the Vikings, as the Packers. You were expected to be a legit team. Something drastic has to change. And it's so ungodly obvious the difference between this year and last year. Even though they sucked last year, you let Justin Fields be your whole offense last year. And now you're trying to turn him into a pocket passer this year. So I think for that reason, like, the logic is so clear that he would run the ball more. I'm not sure if the Bears actually live up to that expectation. But long answer, but I do think he goes over. But I'd like to just sit and watch, maybe live bet, something like that.
Yes, that was a very long answer. We got about 5 minutes left. We're pushing on that hour, so we can blame Stu for that. We'll get to our next one here. Do you like Elijah Moore, 3.5 receptions, plus 120, seen 16 targets and should be more involved without Chubb? Plus Titans defense. Yeah, dude, we love pass funnel guys here. I don't mind Elijah Moore at all. I have him a lot of best balls. And he's a good spot. He can game break though, so maybe that's a yards. Maybe it's a yards for me. There's specific guys that I do like to go with receptions, but I definitely think I would love to see what the yards are. So if you could drop what his yards are, I would definitely like to. I'd be interested.
And I'll say too, like, I typed in my Discord after the last game that he has the most almost catches I've ever seen in my life. And that doesn't mean just targets, right? This guy had like 4 catches where he had both hands on the ball and only 1 foot was out of bounds. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, I like
37.5. Yeah. I think 37.5 is a great number. Think he can, dude, he does a good job after the catch as well. So definitely like that spot. So, all right, Stu, we got to get it moving. 57 minutes already. We're slacking today. Let's get our recap, and then we got to go quick on our long shots.
Sounds good. We're going Derrick Henry over 12.5 receiving yards. That one is minus 114 over on FanDuel. And remember, PointsBet has 10.5. If you have that book, play it over there. And then I'm going Zay Flowers over 46.5 receiving yards over on DraftKings. It has moved up apparently to 49.5. I would still play it with full confidence for a unit right there, and up to 55.5 receiving yards.
I'll be on Amon-Ra St. Brown, 50 yards receiving. Bijan Robinson, 50 yards rushing. FanDuel minus 104. If the Allen stuff, if it does become a monsoon, make sure you follow both of us on Twitter. Have notifications on. I will probably update that if something is bad. Kirk Cousins, 250 yards. Josh Allen, 225. Really like this spot at minus 116. But obviously, if the weather is very bad, like monsoon-like, then maybe we'll talk about it. But right now, if it's just rain, I'm all in, baby. Let's go. Stu, talking about Josh Allen, good segue into our long shots. We got to go quick. We got 2 minutes. Let's go.
We're not on a strict timer. What are you doing here? Yeah. Either way, Dalton Kincaid to score a touchdown, 300 is the pick that I'm liking. I've been seeing a lot of these tight ends having red zone opportunities against Washington. Adam Troutman, despite doing absolutely fucking nothing last game. Shout out to that guy for fucking nothing, by the way. I hope you're watching this one. I'm sure he's going to have 40 yards and 4 touchdowns this week. Either way, he was like wide open 3 times last game in the end zone. Wasn't hit. I think Washington's defense does have some gaps, and I think that really is exploited by tight ends, especially ones that are hyper athletic like Kincaid. We saw Knox miss some practice, has some injury stuff going on. And man, Dalton Kincaid in week 1, 31% of his routes were lined up out wide as a wide receiver. This guy is only a tight end in name. He's a mega-sized mismatch over the middle. I think the Washington linebackers are going to have a lot of trouble dealing with him in the red zone. And I think 300 is a very generous number.
Love it. Love it. And I'll be in that same game. Just heads up. Make sure you get that Josh Allen one in quick because it's already at minus 135. Jesus Christ. I just checked. on my
People are
Draftkings.
watching right now, man. These are getting steamed.
Yeah, dude. I just literally just pulled it up. I'm like, both of them are yellow with the thing pointing down. I'm like, fuck. Give me like 5 more minutes so you can have everybody in here. So 44 of you guys here, now we're in. Hopefully all 44 of you got it in beforehand. That's why it pays to watch live. I'm in the same game. Sign me up for some Gabe Davis, baby. 75 yards. We cashed in on this type of play last week on Nico Collins. I don't know if you watched. Nico Collins was a 20-yard catch per. 20-yard catch per. Well, who does that sound like? That sounds like Gabe Davis, baby. 18.8 yards, air yards per reception at this point. That is awesome. We're seeing around 5 yards of yak per. If we're getting 20 yards on that, right, we need 4 catches. We need 4 catches in the spot. And if it's raining, I'm taking – if I have to pick one quarterback to play in the rain and throw a deep ball, it's probably Josh Allen. And we have a guy here who is running, runs routes across the middle now. I did cash that longest reception first week on a cross, a deep cross, which we don't see. Usually it's just say, hey, Gabe, run straight. Hey, we just doubled the route tree, baby. We doubled the route tree on just an inside move there. So I'm like, dude, if he's running 2 different routes, that means he should get twice the targets, baby. So if we're going to see Gabe Davis in the spot, even if there is a little rain, Josh Allen would be the guy I would love to have throwing a deep ball here. So love that his depth of target. We talk about that all the time. I would like some more targets, right? We only have it's 11 targets through 2 games. But still 15% target rate for a guy who's going to be every catch is 18 yards on the field. That is nice numbers. And obviously game breaking type of plays in game here. So we saw him catch a 50-yarder. Plus 400. Sign me up, baby. We love that. Plus 400 on him. A guy with game breaking opportunities here and had a 50-yard catch last week. So do your thing, Gabe. Do your thing.
Yeah, and to be honest, Gabe Davis was one of my absolute first thoughts of the week in terms of who am I going to bet on after I watched last week, right? Russell Wilson threw for 300 yards with multiple deep bombs, right? We saw Mims have a 55-yarder. We saw Sutton have like a 26-yarder. Brandon Johnson had a 50-yarder. Like, Washington can't stop the deep ball, apparently. I don't know why. I don't know what's happened in that situation, right? But the deep ball has been what's burned us so far, and that's exactly what Gabe Davis does well. So I like the spot a lot. I like the potential upside at 400.
All right. 54 of you guys here, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Don't bet this for another 30 minutes or so until I can go bet it myself. All right, because I got to go out there and get this in. Gabe Davis, longest reception, 19 and a half. What are you dude? What are you doing?
20 and a half yesterday.
19? I'm about to send it in my chat right now. That shit is getting locked in. 19? This dude's hit it twice. And he just keeps dude, every time he catches a pass, it's 18 yards on the field. That's his average. All I need is him to catch an average pass. And we're there, bro. And just fall forward for an extra yard. And we're at 20, bro. Just catch it and go, whoop, cash, money. Right, so, oh my God, dude. Davis, anytime touchdown, 65 yards. Hey, he's going to catch a 65-yard touchdown and catch 1,100, bro. Easy money, bro. Easy money. 19 and a half is disgusting. They just want me to bet on this, man, 9 different ways. And guess what? I love Gabe Davis. Even though you only see him twice a game, they're very important twice a game, baby. So, Stu, what do you got for the people? We're out of here. Hour, 5 minutes. We did pretty good.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I love the shows I brought. These were the 2 that the plays I brought. These were kind of the 2 I've been sitting on and waiting to pull the trigger on. So that's what you get here on Pass the Prop, right? You get some of our absolute favorite looks every single week. Absolute awesome start to the season so far. I mean, 9 units through 2.5 weeks and just straight betting. We're not doing anything flashy here. We're doing it the old-fashioned way, and we're getting the job done. So I saw someone ask, what's the Discord? I have a Discord linked in my bio, completely free. A lot of the smart guys you see in the comments are in there already. We got a very good community going already. Like I said, completely free. We're just talking bets, talking props, all that stuff. If you want access to every single one of my plays, you want to see where I'm live, all that additional stuff, stuff, follow over on Twitter at Monotone Football. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Like I said, it means a lot more than you guys think it does. Gets that little algorithm going every single comment. Like, share, you do all that stuff, helps us out a ton. So if you guys appreciated it, make sure to do all that stuff because, hey, I'm already counting to save Flowers money, baby.
Hey, can't really do much better so far. I mean, one of those losses this year was half a unit, bro. It wasn't even a big one there. So also make sure you're playing those plays for half unit on the long shots, guys. That's what we're playing them at. Don't go out and throw a full unit on it, even though I might be a DJ and playing myself at a full unit. Don't follow me on that. Just play it for a half. That's what we're counting it as on the show. But 2 plus 300 spots in that game, pretty good looks there. So again, follow both of us on Twitter. Have those notifications on, especially if we switch something. I know we switched on Wednesday. It was pretty late, right? We had to make sure we sent that update pretty late because I thought we would get the news. But hey, saw a lot of you guys were able to pay attention to that. No, we're switching to Thursday. Still got a lot of you guys to switch over and make sure you're ready. So make sure you follow us. Subscribe to the channel too as well. And we will keep it rolling for you guys on Monday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Best of luck this week. And let's keep this money train rolling, guys. So have a good one. And best of luck on all your bets this weekend.